Hey, welcome everybody. Appreciate everybody attending, and I know we'll have some people jumping on here as I'm speaking. My name is Mike Walton. I am Senior Vice President of Growth for North America for QX Accounting Services. QX Accounting Services is actually a part of QX Global Group, a large global company based in the U.S. with centers in U.S., Europe, India, and Mexico. The core purpose of QX Accounting Services is really to be a world-leading outsourced provider of audit, tax, and accounting. And really, we work primarily with entrepreneurial growth-focused accounting firms throughout the world. So, with this is a great topic. It fits in really well with what we try and do when we work with CPA firms strategically, is to really look at opportunities for profitability. One thing interesting about QX, I think, is we've kind of pivoted the model, and I think we're doing a lot of innovative things in the outsourcing space to really a refined managed solution. If anyone would like to know more, please let me know. My contact information. I'll give you my contact information at the end. I'm very excited to be hosting this webinar today for everybody. Everybody will be on mute today, but please, if you have questions, utilize that chat button, and Steve and Lauren will make sure to answer those questions as we go through. We'll have some poll questions throughout as well to get this a little bit more interactive. So we're looking forward to presenting to you today. I'm really excited about this because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and I want to introduce Lauren Fogelman and Steve Fogelman. Lauren is actually a keynote speaker and one of the top-ranked business coaches in the U.S. Starting in 2018 and on, she's really steadily been recognized by HubSpot in its annual list of the top 22 business coaches, which there's a lot of business coaches out there in the world. So to be in that kind of high level is pretty impressive. She delivers talks and workshops across the U.S. at major conferences, and is also one of the most esteemed she provides a lot of information for content, marketing events for entrepreneurs, as well as a lot of niche accounting conferences. Primarily, in our purposes here today, Lauren is an expert in pricing strategy for sales and accounting professionals. She does a lot of coaching them, kind of shifting away from that dollars per hour. She'll talk about that a little bit today, that pricing trap that we get into, and really focusing on a value-based pricing model. Her clients actually have reduced their workload by as much as 50% while doubling revenues. So I'll pause for just a second to let you get your head around that. She's a regular contributor to Intuit's Firm of the Future series, Accounting Web, and has actually wrote 2 books, 2 Amazon bestsellers: The Winning Point, How to Master the Mindset of Champions, and The Success Solution, Breakthrough Limiting Beliefs and for Business Success. So check out those books, a lot of really good information, and I'm very, very excited to turn it over to Lauren Fogelman. Lauren, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mike, and I appreciate all the kind words that you said. Before we even get started, I want to acknowledge everybody that has stepped away from working in your business. I know that you are busy, that you are serving your clients, doing the things to remain operational, and you decided to join us today, which is working on your business, getting those insights to be able to really raise the bar as far as the quality of services that you offer and the type of clients that you end up serving and who enroll in your firm. So really want to acknowledge you for stepping away from working in your business and joining us today for those advanced tips, insights, something you can immediately implement as a result of showing up and working on your business. Today's topic is critical steps to raise your rates without losing clients. So often when I talk to firm owners, what I see is the work they do makes a significant difference for their clients in so many ways, the obvious ways, as well as some other benefits that weren't even there on the table to begin with. And the other part that happens is that, yes, the work you do makes a difference, but the rates you charge often do not reflect the value of that work. And that is what I'm on a mission to do, is to show firm owners how to be able to connect their fees to the value that they deliver in order to have a business that supports your lifestyle instead of one that requires you to sacrifice. If you find that when you're initially talking with new clients looking to engage your firm services, or possibly current clients that you want to raise your fees on, and those initial talks turn into pick your brain sessions, or maybe you don't feel comfortable talking about the close and enrolling someone into working with you, and that's where you get a little flustered and end up giving a discount before one was even asked for. Or possibly those legacy clients who started with you from day one, they've been with you for a long time, are still at the original old fees, and they're not up to your current rates. If any of those things apply, then you are absolutely in the right place. Steve, would you like to introduce yourself?
Lauren, I'd love to. So hi, my name's Stephen Fogelman. As you can see by the last name, Lauren and I have been related. We worked together, been married for quite a while. And I'm going to be your co-host. I'm a therapist turned business coach, and I'm going to be working the chat. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them into the chat, and I'll be sure to get those over to Lauren. Lauren, back to you.
Thank you. A little bit about me. As Mike mentioned, I'm a business coach, but I actually started out as a sports psychologist. So I'm a sports psychologist turned business coach. And what I have seen along the way is that there's three things that are different between athletes who want to be at the top of their game and growth-minded firm owners. The very first thing is we wear slightly different uniforms than athletes do. Number two is we're aiming for different numbers than they are. And the third difference is right from the beginning as peewees, athletes have someone on the outside that is guiding them, mentoring, training them, coaching them to be able to achieve their individualized peak performance as quickly as possible. As firm owners, we tend to enjoy helping our clients and guiding them, but asking for help is a little bit more difficult because of that. Yes, you can have your dream firm, but there might be some bumps along the way as you go there because you're figuring it out on your own. So that is something I've seen, is that the differences is different uniforms. We aim for different numbers, and athletes on the get-go, right at the beginning, have someone on the outside mentoring with them. We tend to be a little bit more independent doing it ourselves. Also, as you can see, I have an Amazon #1 bestseller, The Success Solution, and I have been listed as one of the top 22 business coaches by HubSpot. If you look at your education and you went through any type of business training, or university had a business department, there is an entire marketing department, but typically there is not one course on sales. And I believe that that's an injustice, because actually statistics and research have shown that 75% of those graduates from the business school end up in some type of consultative enrolling sales position, but they're not given any insights as to how to be able to actually navigate that process. So there's some costly mistakes that could be avoided as you're figuring it out on your own. The other thing that I've seen with education is that it gives you a lot of the tools, the theory, the know-how, but it also prepares you to be an employee working for someone else instead of an employer or business owner. And because of that, there's actually a couple gaps that need to be filled. One is how to be able to do the sales part when you might not like, when you don't want to be salesy and pressuring someone into working with you. The second thing is how to price your services when you want to separate your fees from time. And the third thing is, how do you communicate value and have it be where it grabs the attention of the right clients that you want to work with, as opposed to the ones that might give you headaches down the road. So those are some of the things I've seen. Is our education gives us the know-how, but it also prepares us to be an employee. And as a result of that, as a firm owner, there's those three gaps of communicating value, separating your fees and time with pricing strategies, and knowing how to navigate the sales part without being salesy. What we're going to cover today is the #1 profit solution, the formula, and convert existing clients. Before we get into that, also, I will give you as much as I possibly can in our short period of time together today. If you're interested in knowing how to implement what we've been talking about into your firm, or being able to have a further conversation, I will show you how to do that as we wrap up.
Well, Lauren, what are the steps to increase income without working additional hours? I think everybody wants to know that.
These are actually the 5 steps right from the Raise Your Rates formula, which I teach over and over again. It's what I do with the clients that I work closely with so that the firm owners can go ahead and increase revenues and actually have a business that supports their quality life. So I'm going to just go through the essence of these so you get an overview, because having that insight will start to make a difference in your firm and raising the bar. So the very first one is high value clients, because in the beginning, you are saying yes to a wide range of people who are willing to pay your fees because you need the momentum, the cash flow, and validation that being a firm owner was a right decision for you. And we want to be more strategic by having insights into what makes someone a high value client as opposed to a low value client. And that goes right into step number 2, which is communicating your value. Once you have those insights about who your high value clients are, then we can start to come up with the right words and the right marketing to grab their attention so that you stand out rather than blend in and they want to know more. This applies to what you have in your website. If you have a pro advisor profile, what you put on there. When you're at a meeting and someone casually asks you, what do? You have those right words to really stand out, grab their attention, and have them want to have a further conversation with you. Number 3 is packaging your services. I regularly look at the websites of accounting and tax firm owners. And when I go to their services page, I see this long laundry list of all the different things that they can do, reconciliations, categorizations, AR, AP. I want to say that all those things do matter to your clients, but they might not actually understand what those terms mean because they're not all going to be financially savvy, even though they can benefit from these things. So what we want to do is move away from that long laundry list of services that's there and start bundling your services together that are outcome-based and really meet the needs of your clients based on where they are in their business evolution. By doing that, that is the first steps to separating your fees from time and offering packages instead of a la carte services. And then we go into step number 4, which is value pricing. That's what we're taking a deep dive into today. Value pricing is different than traditional pricing, which would be either an hourly rate or fixed, which are both based on time, cost, and maybe a little bit of profit margin. When you value price, you're looking at value from the client's point of view. As a result, you can go ahead and actually earn 2 to 3 times more than using other price strategies. And the last one is consultation mastery. Consultation mastery is if you're doing those enrolling conversations or you want to have a conversation with a current client and get them up to your new fees, then you want to have what I call a value conversation where you're asking specific questions. It highlights the value. And as a result, they naturally want to know, how do we get started? This is the ability to enroll clients, whether it's new or legacy, into your packages and your new rates without being salesy or pressuring someone or giving a pitch. So those are the 5 steps of the Raise Your Rates formula: high value clients, communicate your value, package your services, value pricing, and consultation mastery.
Well, it's great, Lauren. I love that formula because it just says so much. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the number 1 profit solution. But before we do that, we have our first poll question. Rate your pricing confidence. I'm highly satisfied with my rates. I'm afraid to raise my rates. I get paid a little and I work a lot. Once again, rate your pricing confidence. Highly satisfied with my rates. Afraid to raise my rates. Get paid a little and I work a lot. And as I mentioned before, when we're doing our polls, this would be a great time to put a question into the chat so I can get that question over to Lauren so she can answer that question for us. So once again, rate your pricing confidence, highly satisfied with my rates, afraid to raise my rates, get paid a little, and I work a lot. And Bhakti, whenever you want to put the results up, that would be great. And once again, if you have a question, go ahead and put that into the chat. And I see our results are up. Highly satisfied with my rates, 17%. Afraid to raise my rates, 83%. I get paid a little and I work a lot is 0%, which is good. And once again, NA is 0%. Great. So Lauren, often there's internal resistance between first thinking about raising your rates and then actually about doing it, especially with those legacy clients. what is it? Why does this happen, and what can be done about it?
Well, the first thing that I'm going to say is I'm going to put in the chat what thoughts keep you from raising your rates, and would love to have you share that either in the chat or to me privately, but would love to see what comes up for you. However, if I told you as soon as we finish with their presentation, I want you to go ahead and raise your rates double what you're currently charging, what thought was that first thing that popped into your mind? And that is evidence that if you were joyful about it, said, oh, absolutely, then kudos to you. But most of us usually have some resistance about that. And it's evidence that we really tend to be the ones that keep our prices lower than they need to be, because there's some things that we get concerned about. You're worried about losing clients if you charge more. Maybe you haven't been a business owner long enough, even though you have been in the profession for quite a while, or that nobody in your region can afford to pay that much. You don't have enough credentials behind your name. There's other things. Steve, anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think that they don't realize the value of their services. They're worried, like you said, about losing clients. They're worried about pushback. They say that it feels confrontational, and they feel that the clients will expect more from them.
Exactly. And Trevor was actually asking if there's a way to review your existing client portfolio to see which clients are more likely to accept, which ones might be at risk. And there's two things I want to suggest that you do. One is open up an Excel spreadsheet and list all your clients there and give them a grade as far as the quality client that they are in your firm. A, B, C, D, and F. The ones that are D's and F's are most likely the ones that are lower value. They might be price sensitive, might be headache clients. That's something to consider. They might have been a great fit in the beginning, but maybe not now moving forward. That's the first thing to look at. And the other thing to look at is that the more that you invest in the relationship with your clients, the less price sensitive they are, which I'll go more into in, I believe, section number 3 today. So thank you for asking that, Trevor. Anyway, I appreciate you adding some other things also, Steve. The main thing is that there are thoughts that we have, beliefs we have, and a lot of times it keeps us from charging more because we believe that the majority of our clients are price sensitive.
Well, accounting professionals are really hard workers. We do know that. What are the common options for increasing their profits?
There's actually 3 main ones that come up to mind for me as I've been doing my research. Is you can go ahead and add in more clients, which is more of quantity, and possibly having a factory style firm where it's a lot of clients in order to meet your revenue needs. You can cut costs, which is going more lean, and you might be able to increase your revenues by that, but also it means that it might be more demanding for your staff or for yourself, because some things that were being done by somebody else or in a different way are now being done internally. So those are 2 ways, is that you can bring on more clients, you can cut costs. And the third way is raising your rates. By raising your rates, it's actually the one solution that goes directly into your profit margin and really makes a difference as far as profits, but it doesn't necessarily add more time or increase your costs. So 3 options is more clients, cutting costs, raising your rates, and raising your rates actually has the best ROI out of the 3 options.
Well, what do we need to consider about our clients?
As I was mentioning before, in the beginning, you bring in a wide range of clients, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. What qualities do you find low value clients share? Would love to hear what your experience has been. But there's going to be a wide range of clients, and the low value ones are going to be a different experience engaging in firm services than the high value ones. What I've seen is what my clients have told me is that low value clients are a lot of times price sensitive. They want a lot, but they want to pay as little as possible. They might be late responders to everything, late responding to your communications, responding to paying invoices, and showing up to meetings. So those are ones that possibly create inefficiencies in your firm. And the other thing with a low value client is sometimes it is your largest paying client that tends to be low value. So that is something to be aware of. And then we have the other end of the spectrum, which are those high value clients, the ones that are a joy to work with. And these are the clients that are engaged. They want your insights. They're interested in becoming more financially savvy so they can take the data and apply it to their business decisions. They're also very timely in responding to communications, paying your invoices, and showing up to meetings with you prepared. So realize you have a whole range, and you want to be intentional about who it is that you engage in your firm services. Another way of looking at this is the metric. So when you have a lot of low value clients, you have what I call a factory style firm where you need a lot of clients to meet your revenue needs. And as a result of that, you're going to be on one end of the spectrum where it's a very, very transactional relationship because you're looking for quantity. When you're at the other end of the spectrum and you have more high value clients, then you're able to invest more in the quality of the relationship. You're able to do higher level services for them because you have the capacity to take on those things and be able to have more meetings with them. So once again, there's a whole range of low value to high value. When you have more low value, it's quantity, it's more transactional. The other end, when you have more high value, it's more relational. And just look at where you are with your firm on the spectrum. Are you happy with that placement of where you sit, or would you like to make some adjustments?
Well, what are the benefits of raising the value of a client?
Well, the other thing I want to put in the chat, now that I asked about the qualities of low value, I would love to know what are some of the qualities that high value clients share in your firm. But if you're looking to make some changes, you want to look at what are your revenue goals for the year. And then you want to figure out what is the average that a client pays you over the course of that year. And that'll give you an idea as to how many clients you need to meet that revenue goal. And are you happy with that number? Or would you like to make a change in some way? If you're happy with the number, I want to acknowledge that. But if you find that you end up needing too many clients to meet that revenue goal, and it actually cuts into the quality of the relationship and you being able to serve them at a higher level with advisory or consultancy services, then there are things you can do with how you price your services to be able to work with less clients, but be able to increase your revenues. Another way to look at this is the benefits of raising the value of a client, because it's possible that you're leaving money on the table and that you can actually meet a portion of the revenue goals you want with your existing clientele. Something to look at when you start raising the value of your clients is you're now able to invest more in the relationship. It becomes less transactional. You're going to look at what is going to be of interest to your clients, what they want to achieve, and show them how to be able to achieve those results that are a priority and important to them. When you're more focused on helping them achieve results that are important to them, then you're able to raise your rates because now they see you more as an advisor as opposed to a technician. Because you're more invested in the client relationship and focused on some future goal that they want to achieve, it actually reduces the churn rate and turnover. They stay with you longer, they're stickier. And also, as a result of that, it has the ability to rev up the lifetime value of your clients. So those are some of the things to think about. It actually answers Trevor's question about which clients are going to be stickier and less price sensitive and which ones will be more price sensitive. So the more that you've been able to check off the things on this list means that those clients are more likely to continue moving forward with you when you go ahead and increase their rates. When I first started working with Karen, she has a niche that she works with, which is attorneys and law firms, but she was doing a lot of things for them. And as a result of that, with a lot of her clients, the scope had adjusted, but her fees had remained the same, which meant that there were things that she was doing that was still on her plate, which she could have delegated to somebody at a lower level in her firm, but she wasn't able to because everybody was maxed out at capacity. We started to be more strategic with looking at the things that attorney needed, how to be able to offer solutions that would be a priority and of value to them, and be able to change her fees so that it was value-based as opposed to being cost and time-based. By doing that, what we did together is we started packaging her services for law firms. And as you can see, there's 3 different packages. There's a silver, gold, and diamond. And this includes the things that are important to attorneys regarding their IOTAs, their cash flow, their AI and invoicing, and being able to do distributions with their partners. As a result of that, she was able to come up with these packages, which met the needs of different law firms depending on their size. There are solo practitioners who would need the silver package. The gold package is for firms that have several partners and maybe more than one location. And then the diamond package is for firms that have a lot of partners and possibly locations, not just multiple within a state, but they're interstate as well. And they have real estate holdings. So think about if you were able to move in this direction of separating fees from time, coming up with packages to offer that are results driven, how would that make a difference for you and your firm?
Well, next we're going to be moving forward and looking at the formula. But actually, I do have a question for Mike. What do you see as a way for firm owners to increase their profits?
And Steve, as we're doing that, can we launch the poll so we're just being respectful of time?
Right. How do you charge your clients? Do you charge hourly rate, flat fee, or value pricing, or a combination? Once again, how do you charge your clients? Hourly rate, flat fee, value pricing, or a combination? And Mike, let me go back to that question. So what do you see as a way for firm owners to increase their profits?
Sure. Well, I mean, the easy question, the easy answer for me, because it's what I do, is to be able to leverage. I mean, CPA firms are always looking to leverage. And if you get into a situation where you're outsourcing, you get a kind of a double benefit. Not only do you add capacity, but the work you do, you see a significant increase in profitability and realization because you're able to leverage down to a lower cost. That's really what it's all about. You have your labor costs, which are a big part of your CPA firm. If you're able to lower some of those costs via an outsourcing solution, your rates are going to be the same, or as Lauren said, you're going to be charging more. So your profitability is going to go through the roof, especially in things like client accounting and that sort of thing, tax. And we do work across the board, tax audit and client accounting. But that's a really crucial way, and it's a fantastic benefit of outsourcing.
And I
Great.
actually
Thank you,
in the
Mike.
chat,
Go
how
ahead.
has your firm benefited from outsourcing? If anybody wants to respond, would love to hear what your experience has been.
Great. And I think we have the results of our poll. So hourly rate is 33%, flat fee is 33%, value pricing is 0%, combination is 50%, and NA is 0%. So it looks like on value pricing, everybody's definitely in the right place to be.
And the way to be able to start to look at value pricing, a really simple definition is the client needs to believe that what they have to gain from engaging your firm's services is greater than the fees that they are paying you. Once again, a client needs to believe that what they have to gain from engaging your firm's services is greater than the fees that they are paying you for that service. And that is the essence of value pricing.
And that's great. So what does it mean when you say 5% leads to 22%?
Once again, research has shown that if you do a minimal 5% increase in your fees to clients, then you ought to see a significant 22% increase in your profit margin. So a 5% increase in fees leads to a 22% increase in your profit margin. And a lot of firm owners, when they are doing regular fee increases, they tend to go with the safe 5 to 10%. But I will say that with the firm owners that I tend to work with, we're going beyond 10%. Sometimes 20, 30. One of my clients just actually increased clients' fees yesterday from $1,000 a month to $3,000 a month. Not any additional work done for that client. It's just how we're now packaging it and how she was able to present the value to that client to where they said yes to that fee increase. So it is possible to do that with your firm also, even if you think that you're dealing with price sensitive clients.
Well, determining value can really be confusing. What things do the clients consider when they're deciding to hire your firm?
Well, if you are looking at having clients engage your services, there are three things that clients are looking at when they're making a decision to move forward with you or move on in another direction. They're looking at quality, service, and cost. And as you can see, cost is actually number 3 on the list. Quality is about the relationship and how you invest in that client relationship. That is a very, very important metric if you're looking to raise the fees of your current clients and new clients that you are looking to engage. How do you communicate with them? What is it like to work with you? How invested are you? Do you give them insights into their financials so they're making better decisions? That is all about the quality of the relationship. And then the service delivery is they need to trust that you have the know-how, the tools, and the skill set to be able to deliver what they are engaging your firm to do, and that you can do it in a timely basis. So that is about the service delivery, that's the technical part of what you're doing. And then the third part is the cost. Now, so that's true for every single one of us, is we want to be able to get the absolute best that we can for our budget. We all want that. And that cost is important, but if you're able to show that you're investing in the client relationship and that you have the skill set and expertise to deliver on things, then people are not quite as price sensitive because they do care about the relationship. And the only type of client that flips this and prioritizes cost over quality and service will be your price sensitive clients. But everybody else is very interested in the service delivery as well as the quality. And the cost is number 3.
Well, sometimes you're uncertain about how to actually communicate your value. Do you have any insights, Lauren, about how to do this?
What you want to do is recognize that you don't need to pitch, you don't need to sell your services. Having what I call a value conversation is a way to, in a genuine way, authentically, let people see the value of your firm and differentiates you from other firms that they might be considering. So what you want to do during the initial consultation, whether this is with someone new or it's looking at raising the rate with a current client, you want to understand what are the challenges, what are the things that they've been tolerating, their frustrations, their achievements that they want to attain, but they might have concerns about achieving those things. That is what you want to gain insight into. And then the second part is you want to educate them about some ways to be able to remove those frustrations, the things that they've been tolerating, and give them insights as to how they can go ahead and get the results that are important to them. And by doing that, they will see the value of engaging your firm's services, because it's not about the technical part of what you're doing. It's that you have the expertise to apply those technical parts to achieve a specific outcome that is important to your client. So the more that you can show them that you have the expertise to achieve something that's important to them is where they will be able to see the value of moving forward with your firm.
You know, you really have gone a lot into the mindset about pricing and buying decisions, but many of our clients, they want to earn more, but they're really unsure how to start. What do you recommend to start separating their fees from time and helping them actually transition to this value pricing model?
If you feel that you're ready to raise your rates, you want to start to shift away from time and cost-based pricing over to value pricing, maybe you've been researching it or you've had attempts and they didn't work, then you want to pay attention and start taking notes. I'm going to give you the exact steps here. And then later on, I'll share a resource that spells it out even more. But this is similar to first learning how to ride a two-wheel bicycle. In the beginning, you're going to be a little shaky because that you might fall over. You put on training wheels to help with the balance. Once you get the balance, you take the training wheels off. So what I call the good, better, best pricing model is the first steps to value pricing. What you want to do is you're going to have clients come to you that want to engage your firm's services. I want you to come up with that original fixed fee that you would have charged them. And now we're going to give them your new good rate. We're going to take that original fixed fee and multiply it by 1.5. That will be your new good rate. You're going to have clients start saying yes to that, and you'll realize that clients aren't quite as price sensitive as you thought they were. After 3 clients engage your firm at the new good rate, we go to tier number 2, which is your new better rate. Once again, people will be coming to you, come up with that original flat fee you would have charged, now we'll multiply it by 2x. And we're going to start enrolling people in your new better rate. By doing this, you become better at having that consultation and explaining how to see the value. You might be more comfortable now with answering objections about why you charge more, or that they ought to engage your firm instead of moving in some other direction. And you're realizing that clients that are now saying yes to your new better rate are better clients than the original ones that you were enrolling before. So after you enroll 3 people at your new better rate, we go up to tier number 3, which is your new best rate. Once again, when people are coming to work with and engage your firm, come up with that initial flat fee you would have charged. Now we're going to multiply it by 3x. This is your new best rate. I'm going to let you know, charging 3 times more what you originally would have charged takes courage, not confidence. The confidence comes later as people start saying yes to your new fees. But the fact is, if you're now earning 3 times more without any additional time spent working, because you're better at having that value conversation and you're enrolling higher quality clients, this means that you might not need as many clients to meet your revenue needs. What would you do with that extra time? Would you invest it back into your business, working more on business development, or adding in advisory services because you now have the capacity? Or maybe you would take back some of that time for personal use and raising your quality of life. So that is how you move from good, better, best pricing and start transitioning into value pricing. And at some point, you're going to want to recalibrate again. So at that point, you'll take your new best price and bring it to the bottom. And that will be, and then you can go through the good, better, best pricing model all over again. And that's the way to start separating your fees from time and value pricing your services. With Susan, she does not like the enrolling conversations at all. And as a result of that, she had really low prices. She had a lot of clients, which meant that she had the factory model. Because she had a factory model firm, she was working 7 days a week, 70 hours a week. It was exhausting. It wasn't sustainable. And her family paid the price because she was never really available for them. And when she had time off, she was exhausted. It was just not very conducive to a quality lifestyle. And everybody in her family paid the price, not just her. So what we did is we started to go through the raise your rates formula. And because she's an accounting professional, she keeps everything on an Excel spreadsheet. I want to bring your attention to cleanup number 1. With cleanup number 1, somebody reached out to her for this project. She would have originally calculated her time and cost and come up with $1,500 as her quote for the project. But she always 100% of the time underestimated projects because when she got into the cleanup, it was always more complicated than she expected. What we did is we talked about the value from the client's point of view and priced that project at $7,900, no additional time spent working. That meant that if they said yes, there would be an additional $6,400 in profit margin. Because this is a system, she had the exact questions to ask this particular client when she met with them. She knew how to talk about the investment into this project. And she also was able to follow the script to ask for payment before she got started with the project. As a result of just following the system, they said yes. But Susan did not have the confidence to do this, but she had the courage to do something different. And because it was a plug and play system, she did it. They said yes. And that gave her insights that clients weren't quite as price sensitive as she thought that they were. As a result, she went back to her existing clients. She started pricing her new projects at a higher fee. And as you can see, over the course of 9 months, she was able to bring an additional $56,000. And the other part that happened is that she reduced from 7 days a week, 70 hours, down to 3 days a week, 20 hours a week, which meant that not only did she increase her revenues, but she was able to get back her quality of life. Also, she was no longer burned out, exhausted, or overwhelmed. And that made a difference in how she worked with her clients, as well as the type of quality life and time with her family.
Or and I think the other thing was that she actually got paid in advance before she did the work.
Yeah, because it actually eliminated her AR. She was no longer chasing money.
Absolutely. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is how to convert existing clients, but we have our next poll question. Let's see, how often do you raise your rates? More than once per year, annually, or less than once per year? Once again, how often do you raise your rates? More than once per year, annually, or less than once per year? And Mike, here's another question for you. We were talking about value. How does outsourcing actually add value?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Let me narrow it down. So we talked a little bit about the profitability, but I think the number one thing right now because the accounting industry is really suffering right now from staffing challenges. So I think the biggest value is that addition of capacity. And if a firm's going to grow, they need capacity to take on that new work. The work is out there. The growth opportunities are out there. So what we do is we're able to create a strategic solution to add capacity for those firms, actual talented, qualified people to build that capacity and really drive that growth. That's some pretty significant value right now. There's a lot of it, but that's the big one right now is this how do we overcome these staffing challenges and build capacity so we can take advantage of the growth opportunities in the market? Good question. Thanks, Steve.
And
Great.
Mike, there's
Thanks,
something
Mike.
else that I want to actually add to that is
Sure.
I believe that QX Global has more security in place for staffing than if you are looking at a 1099 onshore.
Yep.
So I believe that QX Global also has considered the security issues that come with outsourcing, and they do a better job than a lot of times if you're bringing a 1099 that is regional.
Yeah, and you know what we have found, quite honestly, sometimes our security is a lot better than even some of the firms had when they have remote workers. During the pandemic, everybody was remote. So,
Yep.
a lot of people are playing catch up on that security issue. And what we have found is that our security is actually stronger in some cases than the actual firms we're working with. So, yeah, that's an absolute necessity for outsourcing. Obviously, it's a big concern for clients. So we address that early on in the conversations. Good question. Thank you for the comment, Lauren.
Steve, back
That's
to you
great.
with the poll results.
Yeah, as soon as you get the results up, I would love to get them to you. So let's see, how often do you raise your rates? More than once per year is 0%, annually 17%, less than once per year 83%, and not applicable is 0%. And Lauren, before we get into the final section where you're actually going to discuss raising your rates, I've been getting some private messages about how to get current clients up to your new fees. And I know you have a free resource.
Well, if you are looking to increase your rates, not just with your current clients, but with new clients coming in and have it across the board where everybody is paying your new fees, then I suggest you get my free resource at businesssuccesssolution.com/raise. So you can take some of the things I've been talking about, including the good, better, best pricing, how to package your services, and start to put that into play in your firm.
I think this one's yours, actually.
Yeah, actually, Steve, out of respect to time, I'm probably going to take it from here just to give you a heads up.
Go for it.
Research has shown that this is where investing in the client relationship pays off. If you have invested in the client relationship, then those clients have more trust in working with you because you know them, they know you. As a result, they have more loyalty. They are not going to be as likely to move on as soon as you are doing a rate increase. And once again, studies have shown that you are likely to retain 82% of your clients if you do a price increase. And I actually have seen my clients, because they're following this formula, go ahead and retain up to 100%. But plug in the numbers. If you do your rate increase and you keep 82%, there's an 18% churn. How does that affect your time as well as your revenues? And we want to make sure that it's going to be a win-win for you, where the clients that do stick with you are getting better value. And the fact is that you can go ahead and raise your revenues and then have time to be able to work more on business development and CAS advisory services. Some of the things to look through, especially with raising rates with current clients, because it's a little bit different than new clients coming in. And I'm going to give you the 5 steps right here. It's the very first thing is you want to send them some type of notice, whether it's an email or you're sending it through the postal service. You want to communicate that you're making some changes in your firm. Now, the thing here is you want to make it a client-centered relationship letter, which shows the benefits of the changes that you're making in your firm. You don't want to just use the excuse that my costs have gone up and I'm passing them on to you, because that's true for all of us, and nobody wants to be paying for your additional costs. That feels like punishment. So we want to make it a benefit-driven, client-centered letter, and that you will most likely be having a conversation with them about that. The second thing is, now that you've sent them the letter, you want to have someone on your team reach out to them to schedule a conversation on your calendar to talk to them about some of the changes. Or if you don't have a team member to do that, then you want to reach out to your clients and get a meeting on your calendar. When you meet with them, you want to have what I call a value conversation instead of a pitch. You want to have a conversation where you're finding out about what it is that they want to achieve, what concerns they might have, what are benefits of achieving that result, why this matters. Those are actually the 4 talking points that you really want to think about, is really looking at what is top of mind and a priority for them. And then you want to educate them about how you can help them achieve that specific result. By connecting your services to something that is future focused for them is the sweet spot. And it takes you away from being seen as a technician into being seen as an advisor or a consultant that can help them do something that is very meaningful and an important milestone for them. The next thing you want to look at is, when you're having this conversation with current clients, people don't like change. Some of them, they're going to push back and they're going to ask you, why are you making this change? And I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat, what are some of the top objections that you expect to get from clients? The top, and I want you to come up with 5. I went ahead and listed 3, but there might be some that are unique to you and your particular firm or clientele. But the biggest one is price. Why are you charging me more? I'm happy with what you're doing, where the fees currently are. Why do I have to pay more for your services? So you want to be prepared for that objection, because it's going to be the number one objection. The second one might be, what are you going to be doing differently if you're going to go ahead and raise your rates? Number 3 is, I need to think about it. And this is a way to postpone making a decision. And then, like I said, there might be some others. Maybe they need to talk to a partner, or possibly that there might be something else that is, like I said, I don't have here, but might be pertinent to your particular firm. So once again, I want you to come up with the top 5 objections. Then I want you to go ahead and write out a soundbite of how you would like to respond to those objections. That way, once they come up, they're not catching you off guard and you're not getting flustered and shutting down the conversation too soon. Once you write out that soundbite, an advanced move is to actually practice it out loud, whether it's in front of the mirror, whether it's with one of your pets, or if it is with someone that is a coworker or willing to role play with you. And the reason I want you to practice it out loud is because what you write out on a script and how you actually say it out loud will be different. It's similar to actors doing a dress rehearsal before opening night. They want to get used to actually saying the lines in their script, not just knowing the lines. And by practicing it out loud, that way, when it comes up in the actual conversation, you're not going to sound scripted, you're not going to get flustered, and you'll be able to answer in a way that remains client-centered and keeps it conversational. So once again, come up with your top 5 objections, write out that soundbite, and the advanced move is to practice it out loud as a dress rehearsal, so you're fully prepared when it actually comes up in a conversation. And the next part is, you want to discuss the new fees and the payment and how that is going to work. If you have been getting paid in arrears after you do the work, this is the ideal time to transition away from invoicing and over to prepayment. And you're going to want to have that discussion about how that's going to work, being able to get paid for your services. Once again, either what the new fees will be or going to a prepayment arrangement with your new fee. And that would be my ideal suggestion, is to get paid beforehand instead of after the fact, because it saves you time, frustration, and having to chase money. So once again, those are the 5 steps as to how to start raising rates with your current clients. is you want to send them a communication about the fact that you're making some changes in your firm. You want to counter a conversation. You want to have that value conversation that focuses on what's top of mind for them. You want to prepare for some of the common objections, and then you want to talk about the cash and the payment part and how that will look going forward. With Rihanna, she loves saying yes to everybody. She's very, very client-centered because she's always been in the hospitality industry. In fact, she had 20 years of corporate experience in the restaurant industry. But because she was saying yes to everybody as a firm owner, it meant that she had clients in a wide range of industries, and her restaurant clients needed different things than the people that were general contractors and in between. As a result of that, it wasn't very efficient. And if somebody called her in the middle of the day, and she stopped everything to handle their crisis and their situation, which meant that it backlogged her work, and she would need to put the kids to bed and catch up on her work for the day, or she would sometimes have to miss their sporting events because she was doing some client projects as well because she got behind. But what we did is we started to get more strategic about her quality clients and how to be able to focus on what was top of mind and of value for them. As you can see, we came up with 3 package options: silver, gold, and platinum. She decided to focus on the restaurant industry because that's where her niche and specialty was. And the way that this was set up is the silver would be for mom and pops that had a small restaurant or maybe food trucks. Gold would be for clients that had larger staff. Maybe they had a larger space for their restaurant, or they had multiple locations. And the platinum would be more for franchises, and they also had real estate investments. And part of what her packages focused on is the needs of restaurant owners with the ebbs and flows of seasonality and how that affects their cash flow, turnover, because that is rampant in the industry, and how to be able to retain employees more, inventory management, being able to have fraud prevention because a lot of them still took cash, and we wanted to make sure that there were no slippery fingers in their business. And those were some of the things that were really top of mind for them. Her packages addressed those. And as you can see, silver, gold, and platinum had different requirements based on where her clients were at. But this was able to increase efficiency for her. She got back her lifestyle. She was able to charge premium prices, and she was now working with a more engaged client. So if you were able to move in this direction, how would that make a difference for you and your firm?
Well, Lauren, we have our next poll question. How interested are you in talking with Lauren about raising your rates? I'd like to schedule a 15-minute consult with Lauren. This looks interesting. I'd like to find out more, or I'm not interested at this particular time. Once again, how interested are you in actually talking with Lauren about raising your rates? I'd like to schedule a 15-minute consult with Lauren. This looks interesting. I'd like to find out more, or I'm not interested at this time.
And once everybody has answered this, we're going to just shut it down and not share the results. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Sure.
So we can probably close the poll and move on.
So what we covered today was the #1 profit solution, the formula, and how to convert existing clients. And, Lauren, you really shared a lot. And now I think they can go ahead and get started. But some, I think, are ready to get this done, and they don't want to figure this out on their own. What do you recommend for our listeners who would like to talk with you further?
Well, if anybody felt that, first of all, that they got value from this, there's things that they can implement. They're ready to raise the rates, not just with new clients, but with their current clients as well, and get legacy clients up to their new rates. Then I invite you to have what I call a Path to Profit strategy session with me. It does have a $500 value. However, it is complimentary. It is a dedicated conversation about you, your firm, and what you want to achieve. And you can go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk to get that set up, so that we can have that conversation about how to be able to increase the fees with your firm, working with higher quality clients, and being able to reduce your workload. And just want to say once again, thank you. I appreciate you taking time for working in your business, joining us today to work on your business, getting those advanced insights on how to raise the bar of the quality of clients that you work with, as well as the level of services that you offer. Mike, back to you.
Wow, that's a lot. Lauren, Stephen, excellent job. A lot of really really good information. I'd encourage everybody to, if they'd like to learn more, to reach out to Lauren or take advantage of some of these sessions that she talks about. Really good information. And you know what? It's doable. We've talked to firms that have gone through this successfully and really enjoyed the benefits of those increased profits. So it's certainly doable. Focus on the value, focus on your work and the value of your work. It's a hard job, and I think it needs to be valued accordingly. So Lauren, Stephen, thank you so much. Everybody, my information is in the chat. If anybody has any questions about QX or outsourcing or how that can actually help increase the profit for CPA firms, I've certainly seen it done and have numerous stories to tell about firms that I've worked with and we've implemented successful outsourcing strategies and how that's had an impact in the partner share and the overall profit of the firm. Stephen, Lauren, thank you so much. We're right at an hour right now, so you did a great job fitting all that in. And I, again, encourage anybody to reach out to Lauren. I know she's out there on LinkedIn as well, so that's a good way to contact her. I am also, so reach out. Let's have discussions and see what we can do to increase the overall profit for your firms. Appreciate it, everybody. Have an excellent day. Thank you so much.